Welcome to our program Where God Weeps. Today we take you to Uganda in Eastern Africa. Uganda is experiencing relative economic prosperity and peace, but still has to overcome a lot of poverty. Today we are in Rome with the Bishop of Uganda, Bishop Emmanuel Obbo. Welcome, Your Excellency, and thank you for being with us today.
Thank you too.
You've been recently ordained a bishop. What does that mean to you?
Well, to be ordained a bishop is for me to serve the people, and I'm glad I was asked to serve the people who have been suffering for over 2 decades, and several of them are still living in camps with so many orphans.
Can you explain us what they are suffering from?
Well, they have been in the camps because there had been wars and insurgencies for all this time. And besides, they have been harassed by cattle rustlers from another tribe who come well armed with guns, and they come and rob of whatever properties they had. And so at a certain moment, they were put in camps for protection. And that has not been good for them.
I would like to ask you about your ordination. As I understand, there was just before a big flood.
Yeah.
So that means there was a lot of water. Could you move around normally, or were all the ways and all the roads cut off?
Well, now I can move. At that time, in entering in the center of my diocese, I couldn't do it. I had to go through the hard ways that the people were going through, risking, of course, because I was out for my retreat, and then there was a great flood. As I came in, all the roads were blocked. And so I tried the north, the east, the roads were blocked.
So you couldn't come into your diocese anymore?
I couldn't come in my diocese. Then we got desperate whether to postpone the ordination or not. And at a certain moment when I was asked, should we arrange for a plane? I said no, I have to go there as my people are going. If they are footing, we shall fold our trousers and we walk on this water and we reach where we shall all go as a pilgrimage.
So what did you do in the end then?
So in the end, they arranged a canoe. And so I had 1.5 kilometer of canoe travel on that day. And then after that, it was beautiful. I met the representatives of all sectors, the government representatives, the representatives of my own congregation came from Nairobi, the representative of the chief of the tribe, of the Teso tribe, was there. And so we went and we had a good fleet of vehicles, which made me to say, yes, in spite of all the troubles, people were expecting me. And so I was consoled and comforted.
Did it make you happy as well?
Right, but we gave thanks to God when we reached the cathedral. We went and had an adoration for 1 hour with the people, and that was very good start to get our energy with the people together.
Now you just said a representative of the Teso tribe. What kind of tribe is it, and how important are they in your diocese?
Yes, they are important because they seem to be the majority in the diocese. And so they have a chief. A chief, when there is a chief, it means the tribe is really important. We respect that chief. He's an important figure in our midst. And so during my ordination, he was there himself and to welcome me in his chiefdom. And so I think that was a good gesture from him representing the tribe.
But do these tribes still practice traditional religions, or are they Catholics already?
No, actually I'm telling you, I'm talking here in front of 1 million Catholics, plus other Christians like Anglican faithful, and the Muslims, of course, they are there. But many people have, I think more than 65% are Catholics. There's something small practices here and there, but I think Christian life has got them in. And thanks be to God that it is like that. Otherwise, all these sufferings of 20 years, they would have been destroyed probably. But wherever I went, I found that there was a good faith demonstrated. People are singing, people are praying. In some areas, where if I could reach late a little bit, I would find a group praying their rosary. Meanwhile, others are preparing this and that, or singing. And that tells me that really they are still able to face their God and trust in their God. And so it's an encouragement to me. I think that is it.
Often children are the victims of poverty, and in Uganda especially they're victims of many more things. Aren't there about 2 million orphans in Uganda at the moment?
Yeah, probably more, because we have two types of orphans. We have orphans of war, and we have orphans of HIV/AIDS. Some of these orphans are there, and they try to live with their kin, next of kin, their relatives, their grandfathers, their grandmothers, who actually are can't give them much. We know that these orphans are there. We try to create some systems to help those who can, and especially to bring them to educational institutions.
Let us now take a short break to watch a documentary on the situation of AIDS in Uganda.
Let's look at the world map. Here we want to see how many people have already been infected by HIV/AIDS. Who can read for me? Who can read for me? Yes? 40 million in the whole world. Is that a small number? No. 1.79 million. Let's move to the Western Europe. 540,000. Africa. 2.81. Which one is the leading continent there? Yes? Africa.
For over 20 years, Africa has fought a never-ending battle with AIDS, the plague of the 20th century. Immense poverty, deprivation, unemployment, the lack of a properly constituted medical care service, prostitution amongst the underaged and children, these and more are the factors that have determined the spread of this disease.
60% of the population living below the poverty line. Girls have to go out and prostitute themselves in order to buy bread for their brothers and sisters. There are 3 families near us here. Both parents are dead because of AIDS. girls can become pregnant. And then the abortion rate, of course, as we know, is terrible. There's 1.5 million surgical abortions here every year, and that's not counting the back street ones.
I was working as a medical doctor, obstetrician gynecologist when AIDS came. The first reality was when we began to get many, many patients and many people sick, and we couldn't cope in the hospital with the numbers. I experienced so much pain and so many people sick and dying of AIDS. It really dawned on me that this disease is preventable. I had been involved in giving awareness programs and more statistics and information about how it spread, but nothing seemed to be changing.
Condoms were to be the ideal solution to this problem, with mainly rich industrial consortia interested in their distribution and in the huge profits to be made from their sale.
When this question of condoms came about, we had pressure. They said we are not promoting the right thing. People are going to die. People cannot look after themselves. People cannot abstain. The youth cannot wait until marriage. This is a different generation. We are not on the ground, but we said we are on the ground. You know, the truth always stands out as light. We are not giving 1 day's solution or 2 months solution, but we are giving a solution to not only AIDS, but also to other sicknesses.
In fact, the solution was the Education for Life and Behavior Change program, one based on premarital abstinence and marital fidelity, a program that can not only save hundreds of thousands of Ugandans from death, but the whole of Africa.
Education for Life began in Uganda as behaviour change with our sister Miriam. She herself diagnosed this disease way back in 1982. From then on, another doctor, they came together and they put the behaviour change programme together. They were going around the schools warning the students about this disease. One head teacher said to them, "We want you to do something else. You're telling us about this disease, but you're not telling us how to prevent it." So they had to sit down and put the Education for Life behaviour change programme together.
I worked with the Sister Miriam Duggan visiting the sick. At first there were no structures. We were working with the containers, and as she was a doctor, she invited some medical personnel to come and help the victims. They formed groups of young people, young men and women, who helped the sick, washing their clothes, comforting them, speaking to them.
When you work with youth, there's a lot of enthusiasm around youth, and if you give them ideals and proper motivation and get them on board, they will do most of the work for you. And we used a lot of music and drama and song to promote the messages. One of the years was to be a light in the world, or another time it was time to act. How could they as young people be a light in today's world? And then you would run a competition, so all the schools would turn up for the competition. So they were giving messages to each other all day long, as well as acting out the messages. And so hopefully through that you were deepening that message within themselves to be the people that they really wanted to be.
Statistics on Africa paint a bleak picture of over 34 million dead in all age groups since HIV/AIDS was diagnosed in 1982. This includes children and young people under 18 years of age. It costs $200 a year to treat an adult, but even so, only a few can afford it. Centres like TASO, the AIDS support organisation based in Uganda, bring aid to AIDS victims. In Africa, the majority carriers of the HIV virus are women. Young girls very often infected during rape because of the widely held view in Africa that sex with a virgin is the best medicine against AIDS.
Some have tried to abstain, while some still say they are faced with a lot of challenges. Especially the girls said men keep demanding from them sex, and many times when they've declared their status that they're HIV positive, some do not believe, because these girls are looking nice, they've been on treatment for years, and you cannot believe that they are positive. So that is a challenge they are faced with. One of the key messages for those who are positive is really that they should try not to infect another person. At least that's the constant message we keep repeating to them, that try not to infect another. That's the best you can do for your nation. Then for the ones who are negative and who are really the majority, we also encourage them to really try as much as possible not to get involved in having sex, because there is a risk that is carried.
I'm HIV positive, so I'm on treatment which from 2001. My children are negative. At the center there is a group of ladies who are HIV positive. When we are together, it's not that we are there to work, but to share experiences, what we are passing through, and keep encouraging one another that we have to live, we have to look after our children.
Because having HIV/AIDS doesn't mean that you are finished. You have a hope to live for a long time. And then also, Uganda is very religious. We have a religious belief that everyone passes away at the right time, not by accident. So having HIV/AIDS cannot push you to die. You only have to do it at the right time when your time comes to die. So meanwhile, even if you are affected, have got HIV, you must be useful, how to have the hope.
We all know that we need to work with people living with HIV/AIDS. But if at the same time you are not open enough to work with these people as equal players, it is more difficult for these people who are infected to come out openly. And if they don't come out, then you lose their genuine and comprehensive participation, which again was a big factor in this country and continues to be an important aspect of our response, because the degree of engagement, the size, the organization, and the respect to the networks of people living with HIV/AIDS in this country is advancing.
Patriarchal and often polygamous, the African family model is not conducive to marital understanding. The woman often finds herself relegated in the family order. The Education for Life program aims to change that reality.
We have had contact with more than 1 million people, very many people, because we deal with the different categories and in different situations. We offer mainly preventive and promotive programs. We teach family life education involving life skills, like encouraging people to have proper hygiene and then to have immunization. And then also we have teaching programs on sexuality and growth and the population issues.
In spite of a concerted propaganda campaign in favor of sexual freedom, the Education for Life program, after more than a dozen years, continues to bear great fruit amongst young people.
I think people are realizing that the abstinence and faithfulness and the faith-based, value-based programs are getting results, and therefore people are more prepared to support that type of work now. So I think that is a step forward in the right direction.
Studies show that the prevalence rate has gone down among young people, not so much because of condoms, but because young people are beginning to delay, immediate sexual gratification. We are beginning to find that even young people in university are abstaining. We just finished a program training of facilitators where a number of young people were present. And one of the questions they were sharing was their own struggle with abstinence. And I was so impressed that in that room, almost 75% of young people were abstaining.
You abstain so that you avoid AIDS, because AIDS is spreading at a very fast rate. So we have to do our best to try to make sure that we cut down the number of AIDS victims. Abstinence is the best method for avoiding AIDS, because condoms are not so good. They are not 100% secure like abstinence. With abstinence, you're sure there is nothing that is going to bother your life. But with condoms, you can never be sure.
Abstinence is best for my life because it protects me from getting the HIV virus. And of course, it also, when you abstain and you know that you're a virgin, you feel proud of yourself. You know that I kept my purity, and I'll always be that until I find that rightful person that I'm going to spend my life with.
Welcome back to our program Where God Weeps. We're here with the Bishop from Uganda, Bishop Emmanuel Obbo. We've seen a documentary on AIDS, and Uganda is a poster child for AIDS reduction. Is that right, do you think?
It is right. We have had moments of a real fight with AIDS in our country where we were caught up on crossroads. Wars on the other hand, rebel activities on the other hand, and AIDS eating people from town to village. And I think there was a joint effort, both from the side of the government and from the side of the churches. We tried to sensitize people. We didn't want to keep it among ourselves. We're not shy about it. We're not ashamed that we had AIDS. We try to talk about it. We talk it in the churches, and the government talks on the rallies. And this entered even in the village people, whereby we used also the children, same children whose parents were suffering, those who have lost their parents and relatives, to every morning to tell them that AIDS is a sickness that kills and there's no medicine for it. So be careful. When you get a razor blade, used razor blade, you don't use it. You get a safety pin, don't use it. And tell whoever is nearest to you at home to do the same. And so the news went in. The only problem which we had was the use of condoms.
Because isn't there an ABC program of the Ugandan government?
Right. We had.
Do you apply the same ABC or not?
We insist much probably on AB, not C. We insist on abstinence, which quite a number of young generation has taken. Be faithful, quite a number of young generations have taken. No sex before marriage, quite a number of them have taken. So on the other hand, there was the C, which is use of condom. And we didn't, as the church, we didn't accept that, because we say it is well known that condoms can save up to 99%. Now, we are not sure of that 1%. A virus, even if it is 1%, it is a virus in the body. And so we resist that. we still tell people, try your best, be faithful, knowing that if you mess up with your life, it is death. That's the final stage. And so it looks there is a response. The response is clear that we, at the time when we were almost the first in the world, now we have come down from 18% down to 6%. And we still try to go on with the new generation to make it even down or to the end, hopefully, because we know we have the young families. They try to put this idea in the minds of their children. So be more careful. But this is our struggle. We in Uganda have had so many fates, war after war, and so AIDS is still a great war for us.
But then is your role as a bishop not so much an evangelical role as more maybe a political bishop, if I hear your story like this?
No, you see, when you have fire near you, you can't avoid the heat. You see, you can't avoid the heat. I see my people there. If they were to be in a house burning, I would still close my eyes like I closed my eyes and entered into the canoe, and I went for the ordination. The same I would get into the house and get my faithful person, my Christian there, and bring it out to save life. This is what a bishop is for, to save life. The gospel teaches us to love, and love without measure. So we have to use the means which are there. One of them is that political dialogue. And once there is a political dialogue and understanding, well, we work for the same good of the same people. And that's what I'm trying to do.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Right.
And thank you for watching our program Where God Weeps. And if you want to know more on how you can help the church in Uganda, then please log on to our website, which is posted at the end of our program. And we hope to see you again next week. Take care.